gorgeouses. Happy Friday. Oh, welcome to the morning show. We're doing Friday live Q&A today. I'm so excited. I love answering your questions. I really, really do. It's just so much fun and it brings out a magic. And to be totally honest, it helps me a lot as well. So, welcome to the morning show. I am your host, Marli Ansel at Marli Ansel on the Instagrams, and this is the morning show. And today we are diving into all of your questions. I have a question geared up. If you have a question or a comment as we are going through our Q&A today, feel free to drop it in the comments. We will answer as much as we can. But before we do, let's talk about these cosmos. I mean, honestly, I don't even know. Like, we're done. Your old self is dead. We have to move on. We're complete. I don't even know. No, but really, we have the lunar eclipse coming in just a few days. What is today? 22nd, 3 days, which means we're already in the energy of it. Reminder that eclipses are sudden change. It's like forced shift. So what that means is any work that you have been doing to let go will be work that will be much appreciated during this eclipse. Because if you still have attachments to the old, to your past self, to your old way of doing things, to things that are limiting you, holding you back, things that you are meant to let go of, this eclipse is likely going to come in and just be like, you're done. You're done. You're done. And then we move into the solar eclipse on April 8th, which is Aries. As we know, Aries is initiation, new beginnings. It's the first cardinal sign of the zodiac. So everything right now is like, we go. We go. Ain't no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We go. So I'm here for it. And I don't have much to say. I wish I had more to tell you. Everything that I have been feeling has been just that. It's been a feeling. So I guess what I would say then is just really feel into what this time right now feels like it is for you. If there's anything that is really significantly showing up, meaning like it's kind of reoccurring, it's a challenge, it's a loop, a belief system that keeps getting shown to you, a problem that keeps surfacing, whatever is the loudest for you right now is the thing. This is something that is, okay. We are so set up for success. We are so set up for everything we need. It is always right in front of us. Always, always, always. It is just, are you available to see it? So, an example. The thing that has the majority of your focus right now, the thing that is the loudest and is right in front of you, that is the thing. That's the thing you've got to look at, you've got to learn from, you've got to conquer, you've got to overcome. There is no getting around it. There is only going straight through it. It is the thing. So when you say, I want this, or I want to manifest that, or I want to experience this, or I'm done with that, the thing that is right in front of you is the way. Always. Like, God doesn't make it hard on us. You know what I mean? The universe doesn't make it hard on us. They put it right in front of your face. Now, flip side of that, when you're asking for an answer, you're asking for the way. You're asking for whatever it is that you need. You're like, I need this abundance. I need whatever it is. It's right there. It's right there. But you might be looking out here. You might be putting it so far in the future that you can't see what's right in front of you. Everything is always right in front of you. It makes me think about, okay, we're going to do this real quick and then we're going to go into our Q&A. I ran a program in 2022 called Roots of Wealth. And it was essentially going into past life regressions, ancestral coding, and clearing out blockages to wealth, which so many of us have, okay? And in that, because I do my own work, I saw for myself a past life of a man in like the 1940s era where everything was about chasing status. It was like he wanted to be in the gents club, smoking the cigars and the investments and all of this stuff. It was like that was what he was chasing. He was chasing after status, wealth, all of these things. And in that lifetime, in doing so, he ended up sabotaging every good thing he had. He had a family, he had a wife and a child, and they didn't need more. They were happy, they were good, they had everything that they needed, but he felt like he was not enough, and so he was chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing until he created such a blunder that he ended up losing his family, losing all of his money, all of the things, okay? The lesson that I received in that past life regression was that had he been able to see the abundance the abundance that was right under his nose, he had a loving wife, a child, a home, a job. He had so much goodness right under his nose. But he couldn't see it because all he could think about was what he didn't have. And had he been able to see it, he would have come into riches beyond his wildest dreams because his focus and his energy would have been on gratitude for the abundance that he had. It would have unlocked all of these doors. But instead, he ended up dying alone. So it makes me think about that because, one, that was a huge, huge understanding for myself in terms of especially like a past life regression. And it shows you everything that you want is right here. It's right here. You don't need to go out searching for it. You don't need to try to get something that you think you lack. Everything that you want, everything you need is here. But you can't see it if you think it's not here and it's out there. You've got to start being available for what is. You just start looking at yourself and asking, what is the abundance I have right now? What is right in front of me that I've been looking for this whole time? Everything. It will blow your mind when you start doing this, like absolutely blow your mind. Okay, we're going to move on. So we're getting into questions today. We have our Friday live Q&A, and we have an amazing question that we're starting with. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Question is, I get ideas for what I want to do, parentheses, I'm building an online business, and I get really excited about it. But then I just don't do it. I don't know what it is because I feel like I know if I did it, it would be really amazing and it's what I want, but it's like I'm afraid of the work or putting in the work and it not being worth it. I can relate. Okay, so all these beautiful ideas, these visions that, in my opinion, they come from source, all these beautiful ideas that come to you, and you might even know exactly what to do. Like you can see the steps in your mind, but maybe you've never done it before. And so there's a procrastination vibe that comes into play with this, right? There's a procrastination where it's like you're putting it off, you're putting it off, you're putting it off. The idea doesn't go away. And that's one thing I want to point out. When you have a reoccurring vision or a reoccurring idea, that's guidance. That is soul level guidance saying, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way, this is the way. And it doesn't go away. You know, we've talked about this before where spirit guidance is calm, steady, unwavering. Ego is all over the place, right? So when you have a vision that is just steady and it's just waiting on you to be ready, to make the move, to catch up with it, it's always there, but you're putting it off. So I think that there's a few things that go into this. As far as like putting in the work and it not being worth it, I think that this is a big thing that a lot of people face because there will be, I've read things on the internet, people's questions to guru experts and all of that. And the underlying thought seems to be, it's going to take too much time. And I'm already this old. or I'm already blah, 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 or whatever. And then what if it just doesn't even work? Okay. So, the vision that you have for your life of something that you want to do, something you can see in your mind that's super clear. That vision is like it's almost like a still frame, right? It's a still frame of you having and being at that level. That is a literal snapshot, just a snapshot of a second in time. But that vision, once you pursue it, is going to determine the entire experience of your life. Okay. And that anything worth doing is going to take some work. Now, I want you to notice I didn't say struggle. It's going to take some work to put in. It makes me think about Broadway dancers, like Broadway actors. Every time that I have watched someone on Broadway or someone in the arts who is doing this path of life that is not your typical path of life, very artistic, creative, and it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's not easy. But to make it to Broadway and to be performing on a regular basis as your career, okay, I think about that so much in terms of what it took for them to get there, the training, the constant, not applying, what's the word? Auditioning, the getting better and better at your craft all of the time, the networking, the like, how many different plays and dances and all of these things did you put into before you ever got to a place where someone knew your name? And then to arrive there. Okay. So I think about this because imagine that person putting in the work to create that for themselves. Okay. Imagine the effort. Imagine the grueling days. Imagine the pushing past your comfort zone. Imagine the showing up, never actually knowing if you will ever arrive at that point of being a Broadway actor. But you're doing all the things. Now, someone who is doing that, do you think that they are literally thinking, I hope that all this is worth it? I hope that I get to Broadway because if I don't, none of this was worth it. No, they do it because they love it. They want that life. They want the life of the creative, the artist, the dancer, the actor, the performer. They want the life of that. If they get to Broadway, praise Jesus, hallelujah, amazing. But it's not, I'm only doing it if I can get to Broadway. It's I'm doing it because this is the life that I want to live. This is who I want to be. This is the experiences I want to have, and I love it. I love it. But does it take so much work? So much effort? Are there days when they're probably like, oh my God, this is awful? But then they get right back up the next day and they're like, but I love it. But I love it. The goal that you set for yourself, like you have a specific outcome, a specific, like, oh, that's really what I want. It is just the excuse to have a direction to go. Truly, it's just the excuse because as humans, we need a direction to point at. You know what I mean? You give us the opportunity to do whatever, and we're just gonna like melt into a puddle in all direction. So we're like, well, I don't know. Right? Everything is set up with a direction to go towards. I think about like football and the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, football is just a game. It's just a game. It is not like changing worlds here. You know what I mean? Like it's just a game. But the goal every season is for these guys is to work towards the Super Bowl. And so they work hard and they go through grueling days. And there's days where they're like, this sucks and this is awful, but they get right back up and do it again because they love the life of being a football player. Okay. So stay with me. Anything worth doing is going to take work. There's gonna be days where you're just like, "I don't even know what the F I'm doing. I don't even know if I can do this. What was I even thinking? Maybe I should have just blah, blah, blah." You're always gonna have those days. But the way that you can know that it is the life that you want to pursue is that it never goes away. It never goes away. You have a grueling day, you go to sleep, you wake up the next morning, all you wanna do is that same thing again. Do you see what I'm saying? So, anything that you truly want is gonna take work, but that does not mean struggle. That does not mean, like, you hate it the entire time. You do it because you love it. So the vision for what you think is the end result, and I say what you think is the end result because you don't know the end result, but the vision for what you think is the end result is what sets you up to have something to move towards on this path of life, the life that you want to experience. So, here though, hear me on this, because this is where the magic comes in. In the beginning of doing anything new, it's going to feel difficult. It's going to feel hard. Number one, you've never done it before. So on a like simple biological level, you don't have a neural pathway for it yet. So that's the like hard feeling that you feel anytime you do something for the first time and it's like, like you hate it. It is literally because your brain is like under construction building a pathway. The more you do it, the more that pathway is going to get built and then it's going to connect and then it's going to be easy. You've done this a million times. So anytime that you do something new, it's always going to feel hard at first. Your brain is under construction, momentum is getting going. If you stay with it, it's going to get easier, 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 easier. And then we start to build muscle memory with it. And then you can do it in your sleep. And then you skip over the parts that you didn't actually need to be doing, but you thought you should be doing. We do this all the time. But the only way that you get to the ease is if you continue. It's like, you know, when working out really sucks when you're not in shape. Working out is the worst thing in the world when you're not in shape. It is grueling, right? But do you know when working out gets really easy? After you get in shape. Do you know how to get in shape? You got to work out. So the path to ease is typically always hard at first because you're just getting started. You're just revving up the momentum. You're just formulating the neural connections and you're just getting over that hump of like, I am doing this. So it's always going to be difficult in the beginning. I mean, I say that like don't go hard facts here, but typically the first time you do something, if you've never done it before, it's going to feel like that experience. So you have to leverage something that is going to pull you through that. Because if we know, and then referencing our Broadway example here, you know that to get to this ultimate picture, you're going to go on this journey. On that journey, I want you to think about this. What is the journey for? Like, aside from it's our experience of life, the journey is to mold you into the human you must become in order to have this experience here. If you start out like my 11-year-old loves Broadway, loves it, like absolutely loves it. She's done like 4 theater camps so far. 4, okay? Can she do Broadway tomorrow? No, she ain't ready. She ain't ready, right? So the journey though, if she puts that as her pinnacle, where is that journey of life going to take her? It's going to take her all over the place. It's going to take her to doing more of these camps and more of these trainings. She might end up moving to New York. Do you see how it sets the trajectory of your life? And the whole time, every action that she's taking is molding her into someone who is a Broadway actor. Okay? So, erase the whiteboard. Let me tell you this in a different way. Everything that you do is deciding who you're becoming. Which is hard pause. Everything you do is deciding who you are becoming, who you're being and who you're becoming. So if every action you take action you take be a really important piece of the puzzle, like a really important piece of the puzzle. And if you're clear on exactly where you want to go and you know some of the actions to take, then couldn't you see every single action as a massive step in molding your identity to you becoming exactly who you want to be? Every single step. Every single step is solidifying who you are becoming. I don't care if it is the smallest thing in the world or it's a massive huge move. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because every piece of the puzzle is needed. So whether you have this huge thing that you know you need to do, like, or like quitting your job to go all in on starting your business, that's a massive move. Whether it's like that, or it's buying the URL and starting to learn how to build a website, it doesn't matter how big or how small. Every action you take is solidifying who you are becoming. That makes you kind of second guess everything that you do, doesn't it? Like, oh, hang on a second. Okay. So if I know where I want to go and I know the actions to take, then every time that I put off that action, what am I actually putting off? You're actually putting off who you're becoming. You're actually putting off the molding myself into this human who creates and does and has the thing that I can't stop thinking about. You're actually putting off your identity morphing. So if every action solidifies who I become, then doesn't every action become a whole lot more exciting? Every little thing that I do is solidifying who I'm becoming. Every little action that I take is so worth it because it's not even about, is this action going to create that outcome? This action is creating you in this moment. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that as you morph, as you shift who you be, you will become an energetic match for an entirely different reality. So you can't even have the vision without doing the action to become, because your reality is going to match who you become. And if you don't become, then your reality doesn't change. Your reality continues to match who you are right here, right now. So if every single action that I take is changing me on an energetic, deeply encoded level, then every action is also shifting my reality. And it's bringing me closer and closer and closer and closer to that version of me who does have everything that I've been going after. Now, what's really cool about this is that the vision that you have for what you think you want is probably the teeniest, tiniest little thing compared to what actually will be. Because the universe comes in and blesses our visions with its magic, and it expands and makes them beyond anything we could imagine. I will tell this story for the rest of my life. I did not pray or ask or envision my husband and my stepdaughters. Never even thought about it. Like, never even thought about it. I always was focused on career. I was focused on building my business, and I was focused on being my best me. And then here waltzes in the most incredible man in the entire world, and he's blessed with two little girls. And here I go. Now I'm married and I have stepchildren. And it is the biggest blessing of my life that I never even knew about, never even knew could be possible, never even thought about, never even asked about. And here my life is more love, more joy, more golden, beautiful energy, more anything that I even asked for. And it is all about what is the aim that you're going after that's going to determine the trajectory of your life. And every action that you take is solidifying who you're becoming along the way. Every single action. So when we get into our procrastination mode, there's two things that are happening here. One, on a cellular level, your body knows, your body knows that as you take these actions, it's going to change you. It knows. And so there's resistance with that. Just like, object in rest wants to stay in rest kind of vibe. Like, there's resistance with that. But once you start, the momentum gets going and then you'll become addicted to it because you'll just see the benefits and you will feel the benefits. And you're like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So, anytime that you're feeling that resistance or that procrastination, one, you've got to realize it's because you are truly are about to change who you be. Like you're about to change your life through these tiny little actions. And our ego does this really fun thing where it goes, it's probably going to be really hard. It's probably going to be really painful. Your ego will make up scenarios, make up emotions, make up resistances left and right, trying to get you to stay exactly the same. What you have to know is that it's made up. You just have to know it's made up. So the feeling you had when you're like, oh, I don't want to, it's going to be awful. That's not real. It's not real. It is not, you are not a fortune teller. It is not a premonition. You are falling victim to the ego and its tricks. You got to be trickier than the ego. You got to be trickier than the ego. And what I mean by that is like, you just got to know its game. You got to know its strategy. Ego is always going to make things seem bigger than they are. They're not. Take the first step. Prove it to yourself. Silliest example in the world, but I always think about it because it was such a profound lesson. When I was in college, I hated writing papers. Ugh. And I'm a writer. Y'all, I got hundreds of journals of writings. Hated writing papers. So like, don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me what to do. Anyway, you had to do it, right? Because you pay to be there and you would like to get that degree. So what I would do, I would feel that feeling. I would procrastinate the hell out of it. And then I would tell myself, okay, just write down whatever's coming through your head. Like, you don't need to make it sound good. You don't need to make it pretty. Like, just write down whatever comes through. And so I would just like free write. Whatever was kind of like, all right, yeah, history, this, 1900, blah, 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 whatever I knew, I would just write it down. And then when I would be done, like finish whatever I could stream thought and put on paper, I'd go back and read it. And I'd be like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then I would just put a couple of tweaks here, there, and then I was done. And I just remember, like, it clicked hard for me. I still have a visual in my mind of my desk and my computer in my living room in college. It clicked for me. All you need to do is begin and take the first step. It is always easier than you think. It's always easier than you think. Your mind is going to make up the craziest stuff. It's not a premonition. It's not truth. It's not prediction. It's always easier than you think. So whenever you hit that resistance, you've got to recognize it is always easier than you think it's going to be. And tell yourself that. I mean, that is just like gold to get yourself to make that first move. It's always easier than you think. Oh my God, I bet it's going to be so easy. Well, I'm going back to, we did an episode on this not too long ago. It's so easy. It's so easy. My gosh, it's so easy. Just tell yourself that, because as you do, that's you winning. You're not falling for the ego tricks. You're winning. And you actually want to do the thing anyway. Like, the resistance that's in you is not truly who you are. The resistance that is in you is, one, biological, because your brain hasn't created the pathway yet. But two, it's an ego trick. So it's not really who you are. You actually want to do it. You wouldn't have come up with the idea if you didn't want to do it. You actually do want to do it. So this, combined with knowing, as I take every single action, as I lay every single puzzle piece, I am literally solidifying who it is that I want to be. And as I become the version of me that I want to be, my entire reality morphs, because it has to, because it is an energetic match to me. Always. Your snow globe. Those of you who are new to my world, we always talk about everything is your snow globe. Just imagine You're the center and you're projecting out everything in your reality. Everyone has their own snow globe. Okay. We're not going to get into the quantum physics of how they interact yet. We won't do that today. Just imagine for our example today and for simplistic sake, you have your own snow globe. Everything in your snow globe is reflecting back to you in some way. So as you shift, the projection shifts. Everything comes down to you. So as I do things that are in alignment with the life that I want to have, I am changing who I be. I'm solidifying that next version of me. I am locking it in. And once it's locked in, can nobody take it? Nobody, because nobody has control over your snow globe unless you let them, unless you let someone tell you who you are, tell you what's possible for you, which this happens, doesn't it? You are in control of you. Amen, amen, amen on a Friday. Woo! Okay. Well, we're already after 10:30. And that was an amazing question. So thank you for sending your questions. If you want to send a question into the show, you can email me at assistant@marliansel.com. Or if we're friends on the socials, send me a direct message. You can deep dive into whatever it is that you have going on. All the questions are anonymous, so feel free to bare your soul. And we are here every day, Monday through Friday. We do Q&A on Friday. So if today's show resonated with you, please share the show. Helps us to grow our impact and get the message out to more people so we can raise the vibration of this planet. And I love you guys. Thank you for being here live. So we're here next week, Monday through Friday. But then I'm going on vacation starting March 30th. So the week after March 30th, the morning show will be on vacation and we will return in April. Okay. I love you guys. Hi, Lauren. Happy Friday. Thank you for being here. Please share the show, and I will see you guys on Monday for another episode of The Morning Show. Love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Happy weekend. Happy Friday. Happy eclipse. Go sever the ties of whatever it is that you need to let go so that you do not have to face some huge slap in the face. Love you. Mwah. Bye.